Roguecraft hit up the Commodore Amiga in summer of 2024, courtesy of Badgerpunch Games and published by Thalamus. The game is a slick, asymmetric dungeon crawler styled roguelike, with surviving and looting being your goal as you make your way down to the ultimate treasure. I'm joined today also by Ricky Sickinger, programmer of the game, but I'll let him fully introduce himself.
My name is Ricky Sickinger. I'm a developer for Badgerpunch Games. I had an Amiga back in the 90s and did some programming back then. A couple of years ago, after making a couple of Commodore 64 games, I wanted to get back into Amiga programming and try making a game for this lovely machine too. Luckily, Henning Ludvigsen, the other half of Badgerpunch Games, agreed, so we started looking for ideas. We were thrilled that players loved our game Rogue 64 for the Commodore 64, but we wanted to make it look a little nicer and add the missing features we couldn't add to the C64 version, so we thought that would be a great game to make on the Amiga.
The story for the game puts you in the role of an adventurer looking for your fortune and glory. You've been in search of the legendary dungeon, Mordecum, and have finally found it, and plan on looting all the treasure with something special waiting if you make it all the way to the bottom, assuming you survive, that is. The game is a grand 16-bit version of Badgerpunch's 2021 Commodore 64 release, Rogue 64, one of my personal favorite C64 games of that year. Please check out my full original review for the game for a lot more details. I then asked Ricky about the new 16-bit look and style of this release.
We love the old isometric games like Head Over Heels, Marble Madness and The Last Ninja. Isometric games give the illusion of 3D and 2D, and it's a great way of some depth and detail into the graphics.
And now let's check out the gameplay, which, if you never played the original, is a turn-based roguelike dungeon crawler, in a sense that every move you make, an enemy can move. No menus per se, so you can play it as fast or as slow as you really want to. At the start, you get to choose between 3 different classes for your main character. This not only changes gameplay and strategy, but also acts as a difficulty setting. Bear in mind, this is a roguelike, meaning you only have one life, so the stakes are very high. You have a warrior class, who is the strongest in terms of hit points and damage, which makes him the easy level, and is recommended definitely for your first playthrough. The rogue has dual wielding knives, has average stats across the board, and has the ability to teleport if things get really dangerous. This is the medium setting. The hardest is the mage, who is very physically weak but has the advantage of long-ranged attacks and close quarters. This is by far the hardest difficulty. The dungeons themselves are procedurally generated, making every playthrough unique and unpredictable. The strategy to the game is really deciding when to draw the line between loot and your life. What I mean is, you need a key found on each level to exit. Once you find that, you can leave immediately at the local warp gate, but if you search the whole level, you could find more loot and upgrades for your character, but risk death in the process. Remember again, you only have one life. These are the real important choices you'll be making in the game. Pushing in the direction of the enemy strikes them. Each takes a turn until someone dies. Knowing when to move and what you're fighting is a learning game, as each creature has different strengths. Besides the key you're looking for on each level, you can also pick up gold, which adds to your overall score. Gems upgrade your main character's strength and are very vital to seek out. Green potions heal you, and red and blue alternate abilities for each playthrough, so you never know what they're gonna do. Some can kill all enemies on screen, while others invert your controls but increase your strength for a short amount of time, and much more. I then asked Ricky about the biggest difference between Rogue 64 and Roguecraft's gameplay.
The game is quite similar to Rogue 64, but we've added secret rooms, more potion variations and more monsters. Basically more of everything. We've also added 2 extra playable characters, so you can play as a warrior, which is easy mode, a rogue for medium difficulty, or a wizard for the hard mode. Each character has a different style of play to spice it up a bit and add variation.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Graphics-wise, Roguecraft is really gorgeous to look at. Its isometric viewpoint really allows the dungeons to shine with detail, and the creatures themselves are animated and look very impressive, as are the little traps all over the place. The further you get, the cooler the environments and the monsters become. All of this was done by Henning Ludvigsen on graphics, Ricky's partner in crime over at Badgerpunch Games, and the same guy responsible for Rogue 64's simple but very detailed presentation. Like what he did with Rogue 64, he did here, just with a different look, is make all the information in the game available on the main screen alone, so there's no jumping back and forth to different menus. It's slick and allows the auto map, character stats, loot score, and inventory all on the same screen, which speeds up gameplay but also makes the game unintimidating for non-RPG strategy gamers to understand. I then asked Ricky to tell us a bit more about the team and how long they've been working on this game for.
Badgerpunch is still Henning and me, but this time around we've worked with the famous Joger Liljedahl on the music, and Hoffman has helped us out with the sound effects. We've also had some great QA and testing help from Coffee Cup Arcade, 48K RAM, Yawning Angel, 10 Mark, and a few others. This project wouldn't have been possible without the help from the Amiga community. The game has taken us about 2 years to complete in our spare time, and we began in earnest around August 2022, just after completing the Mega 65 version of Showdown.
Sound is all pretty good, with some nice chunky hit sound effects, although I do wish there was a little bit more variety in the hits, as it is one of the main gameplay mechanics. You can choose to play the game with sound effects only or a combo of music and sound effects. The main score of the game is done by Amiga music veteran Joger Liljedahl, who has been part of many classic Amiga demo scene and music groups such as Maniacs of Noise, Fairlight, and Spaceballs. He brings a dark, moody, atmospheric score to the main game, and a very cool main title track with a catchy yet very moody vibe to it, plus more. Overall, Roguecraft is a must-play modern Amiga game. It's very easy to play with a straightforward console game style feel, but with a lot of subtlety. I asked Ricky where and in what format will this game be available.
You can go to the badgerpunch.com page to get the latest information. When the pre-orders open up, they'll be on the Thalamus page, and we'll link them from the Roguecraft page on badgerpunch.com.
All links for the game in digital and physical will be in the video description. It's a really fun coffee break style game that requires minimal time to play and enjoy. Definitely worth checking out.